Hello class, welcome to Pre-Algebra Lesson 1-5, which is all about word, equations, tables, and graphs. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to use multiple representations to represent functions and translate among different verbal, tabular, graphical, and algebraic representations of functions. Alright, so example 1, let's practice making a function table. So make a function table for 4 different input values and write an algebraic expression for the rule. Then state the domain and range of the function. Domain and range, we've already talked about this chapter, so hopefully that doesn't seem too difficult here. But if so, I'll be reviewing that. All right, so our rule is double a number and subtract 1. So what does double a number mean? That means I take whatever that number is and I multiply by 2. So I'm going to say 2 times, since I don't know what the number is, I'm going to use a variable. I'm going to use x, and then subtract 1 means minus 1. So whenever you have a rule, you write it in that middle column of the table. Then we are told that we need to pick 4 different input values, so those are our x values. I'm just going to do 0, 1, 2, and 3. But really, you can pick any 4 numbers. Okay, so whatever 4 numbers you want to pick, as long as they're different from each other, go ahead and pick them. Then, for the middle column, anywhere that there's x, you replace it with the number from that row. So first I replace it with 0, then I replace it with 1, then I replace it with 2, and then I replace it with 3. Then in order to figure out the output, I actually figure out what number that becomes. So if I look at this first row here, 2 times 0 is 0, and then 0 minus 1 is negative 1. Then I move to my next row. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. And then our last one, 2 times 3 is 6. 6 minus 1 is 5. So that is all I have to do for the table. That's everything I need to do for the table. Then for the domain, remember the domain is made up of your x values. So that would be 0, 1, 2, and 3. Or if you chose different numbers from me, whatever 4 numbers were in the first column. The range is the y values, or the output values. So in this case, that's negative 1, 1, 3, and 5. Yours might be different if you used a different input than I did. Okay? So that's everything that this question was asking. Make a table, or write a rule, make a table, identify the domain and range. So now it's your turn. Make a function table for the input values, 10, 20, 30, and 40. So this time they told you what input to do. Okay. So your table, you should have 10, 20, 30, and 40 written over here. Okay. Which shows the correct algebraic expression, domain, and range for the rule. And our rule is triple a number and subtract 2. Good luck. All right, hopefully you ended up with letter C. You said the rule would be 3x minus 2. And then you determined the domain would be all of those inputs you were given. So 10, 20, 30, and 40. And then the range would be the outputs, which were 28, 58, 88, and 118. If you have questions about that, please be sure to raise your hand and ask for help. Okay, so this is just kind of a nice little concept summary of everything that we've done so far in this video. Basically what we're doing is we're comparing words and converting them to tables or equations, and next we're also going to do some graphs. All right, so an assembly line produces 30 boxes of iPhones per hour. Write an equation to find the amount of boxes it can produce for any number of hours. So if it can produce 30 boxes of iPhones per hour, that means in 1 hour it would produce 30 boxes, right? In 2 hours it would produce 60. 3 hours would be 90. But what if I want to know like 10 hours from now? What would I do? I wouldn't want to say 30 plus 30 plus 30 plus 30 plus 30, and I wasn't counting how many 30s that was. But I wouldn't want to do that 10 times, right? Instead, I would multiply. I would say 30 times 10 hours. So since I don't know how many hours the assembly line has been working, I'm going to use a variable. So my equation would be the number of boxes equals 30 times h, the number of hours. All right, so then make a function table for 5, 10, 15, and 20 hours of production. So I know what my inputs are. They're 5, 10, 15, and 20. My rule is that equation that I had used up top, so I'm just going to plug 30h in there. So I'm going to have 30 times 5, 30 times 10, 30 times 15, and 30 times 20. So that's what the middle column of my table is going to look like. And then the output, I actually figure out what 30 times 5 is. That's 150. 30 times 10, 300. 30 times 15, 450. 30 times 20, 600. Okay? This question did not ask me to list the domain and range, so I can skip that step and go straight to making a graph. So if I make a graph of this problem, I can, let's see, I'm going to put hours on the x-axis because it is the input, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, and then 20 is over there. And then I'm going to go by 50s. So 2 lines would be 100. I don't know why my marker randomly switches colors, so sorry if that annoys you as much as it annoys me. Okay, and this is number of boxes. All right, so after 5 hours, we said that there were 150 boxes, so I'm going to put a point there. After 10 hours, there were 300 boxes, so I'm going to put a dot there. 15 was 450, and then 20 was 600. And that is what my graph would look like. Okay, so it's kind of similar to what we did yesterday with the graphing. Now, it is your turn. I want you to read this problem, or I'll read it to you. Jenny makes $6 per hour at her after-school job. Write an equation to find the amount of money she can earn for any number of hours. Good luck. Hopefully you figured out that the answer was letter B, n equals 6h, right? You would have to multiply the number of hours times how much she makes each hour to get her total. Now, make a function table to find the amount of money Jenny earns for working 10, 20, 30, and 40 hours. Good luck. Hopefully you said letter B, either because you did the math or you realized it was the only one with the correct rule from the last page. So the rest of these all had incorrect rules. So, no matter how you found it, hopefully you ended up at letter B. But if you have questions on that or anything else from this video, please be sure to let me know and I'd be more than happy to help you. Have a great day.